Can I beat 0% AI using all 5 tire compounds in one race here in F124? We're going to find out as we come to the Silverstone circuit racing as Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso, where we must use all 5 tire compounds throughout this 25% race and try to beat the 0% AI. And if we do complete it before the final lap, we will add an additional challenge where we have to pit one more time and put on a set of wet compound tires and try to win the race. So 2 challenges kind of within one video, only if we complete the first challenge here. Now, so we'll be starting on the softs, but it doesn't matter what tire we start on, it will not count. We will have to come in and put the softs on another time, as we'll be starting P8 on the grid here as Fernando Alonso now, as we're racing for 13 laps around this Silverstone circuit. Now, the reason I chose Silverstone, the pit lane's really slow and therefore it makes it really lengthy. Therefore, it's more of a penalty, and that will really make it challenging for us to actually beat these guys, even though they are 0% difficulty. Now, it's not going to get any easier than this, and you can see, I mean, it's like I'm on God mode or, on grip hacks. I'm just able to breeze past these AI around these corners. The straight line speed, they're actually just as fast as your car in a straightaway, but once you get into those corners, thank you very much. We pass Carlos Sainz, and we'll go around the outside of Max Verstappen. Thank you very much, Verstappen, into the lead already, and just trying to open up as much of a gap as we can. My strategy here is we're going to basically run one lap on every set of tires, come in, pit at the end of that lap. So we're going to come in and do the wet tire first. We're going to get the wet and intermediates out of the way, and we're just going to kind of work our way until I'm going to basically do wet, intermediate, hard, then I'm going to do soft, then I'm going to go to medium, because that's the kind of idea to finish the challenge on that tire. But of course, if we beat the first challenge, we will come back in for a set of wet. So our first wet set of tires goes on, and look at Verstappen out in front over Sainz and Perez. They are quite a ways down the road, and over the next half of this Grand Prix, that gap to this front, to this field is only going to grow. So we're going to run this lap, and at the end of this lap, we'll come in again, put on the intermediate compound tire. So we are quite literally pitting every lap until we go through all 5 tire compounds. You could maybe run 2 laps here or there on a certain compound, maybe the soft or the hard, but that's just not really logical if we're going to try and maximize everything here. So we were quickly closing in on the cars in front. You can see Valtteri Bottas, their P19, we're only 3 seconds behind him. Through the S's section, you can see it's a bit of a 4-car stack up right there. We're really reeling them in, and right towards the end of this lap, we're going to get right to the back of them, but this is okay. We're going to be pitting right here, so we'll get to the right side of Valtteri and as well Nico Hülkenberg and even to Alex Albon, but we come into the pit lane, and I'm being pretty cautious here because the last thing we need is a drive-through penalty for speeding, so I go quite slow, but the wets come off, the intermediates now go on, so there we go. That's one compounded tire down. Now onto our second, as we'll complete this lap now on the inters, and I was a bit surprised by how decent the wets felt on this dry track, and the inters as well felt pretty good here. So certainly feeling confident about our chances here today to complete this first challenge at least. I think the second challenge is going to be a little bit more difficult, but it comes down to about how much time we can make here in these opening laps against Max Verstappen, who's currently running away with the lead of this British Grand Prix here in 13 laps of racing. And now getting through this lap okay. We cut the gap down to about 10 seconds to the back of the pack of Valtteri Bottas. So basically we lost just over 10 seconds over the course of making that pit stop in that lap. So we come in, and now the inters are off. We can switch over to the dry compounds at this point. We'll start with the hard compound tire, get back on track, and get rolling. Well over 30 seconds behind. Now Alex Albon has had a bit of a moment there, slip and slide, actually get a warning for crossing the pit exit line. Fortunately, it's not like old games where you would immediately get a drive-through penalty for it. So you can see on this hard compound tire, though, running a good pace, of course, now compared to the wets and the inters as well. So the pace is good. It's just obviously right now it's kind of a land of the unknown. We're going to be pitting at the end of this lap here, and we will be putting on that soft compound tire. So you can see by the time I come in at the end of this lap, the gap about 18 seconds. So this time we lost about 8 seconds, 7 seconds overall. But of course that's because we weren't having to deal with a slower wet or intermediate compound tire. So now we come in, we'll put the soft compound tire on, a nice 2.4 second pit stop from the team. You see Verstappen is exiting the S section now into sector 3 as we're just coming out of the the pit lane. So we're on the softs. This is the fastest lap we're going to be able to put down, and of course it's not going to be a full lap, about 90% of one, but this is going to be the quickest we're going to be able to go around this track all race long here. So this is a crucial tire to really maximize the capabilities of the pace that we have with Fernando Alonso behind the wheel here in this Aston Martin. And you can see we are chomping down the gap. 30 seconds now between myself and Alex Albon. I think he's got wing damage because he's 7 seconds off of Nico Hülkenberg, so maybe that's the gap that we should actually be paying attention to. And I mean, just absolutely flying. We're going to set a purple sector 2 without any issues, but pitting at the end of the lap, we got the gap to Hülkenberg down to about 31, 32 seconds now as we come in for what will be our final compound already. So we have now made all 5 compound tire switches before the AI have even made their first and only stop of the race. They will have to pit here within the coming laps. So we just continue on trying to maximize the pace because this is going to be the compound that we're on until we complete the first challenge of just getting to the lead and running away. Now, as you can see, some AI now are making pit stops, so there we go. I would expect Verstappen to be in next time around potentially here. As you can see, the gap to Albon right now, 38.7 seconds, so clearly a lot of work to do to close in on these guys, but that pit stop is certainly going to help bring us into the mix now as we, for the first time all race long, actually come through this final chicane. It took us half the race just about to actually get to this point to where we're not pitting. We come around the right track there to set a purple sector 3, and we'll easily set the fastest lap here when we come back around one more time. Now, as there you go, 17 seconds to Hülkenberg. That is a true gap now, as he has made his pit stop and many others around him have as well. Now Max Verstappen a lap later coming into the pits now, and he's going to bring Carlos Sainz, Oscar Piastri, Lewis Hamilton, Lance Stroll, Ricardo Ocon Magnussen with him, and hopefully now we can kind of put our head down and focus in on closing in on all this traffic. And look at the gap to Hülkenberg, significantly reducing down to 4.5 seconds, 3.5 seconds now. It just continues to climb in my favor now as Albon's going to be coming out of the pits. He might be the first car we reach. We actually passed him before he got out of the pit, so it wasn't even a contest. We run down Hülkenberg, we breeze around the German, and now we'll set up Valtteri Bottas as we will be able to run him down, no issue. A few seconds later, breezing past a Kick Sauber driver into 17th position. Gasly 2 seconds up the road. You're going to just watch how quickly we reel him in already. Under 1 second, only a few car lengths. Right to the back, we look to the right side. He has a bit of an overreaction. We breeze past the Frenchman. And now up into P16. Logan Sargent's up next through the S section. We'll go around the outside, commit, clear, no problem now, as we have another Haas to deal with. That's Kevin Magnussen. We breeze around the outside of him. Things are looking pretty good at this point now. Esteban Ocon, we use a DRS on him. He has none to use, and we'll breeze past him as Magnussen looks for a move up the inside, as we are now up into the 13th position. Look how quickly we're up on the back of the 2 V-Carb cars and nearly into the back of Yuki Tsunoda. A bit of a moment there that throws us off and costs us time, but we get the job done into P11. It feels fun to play this game like you're on God mode, as this car has been, of course, hooked right up, as well as AI when they're on 0%. It's just like you're driving past them and they're standing still. And we're now rolling up on Zhou Guanyu. We're going to take him out of the points, unfortunately, breezing around the outside there, and into the top 10 we go. Verstappen still way down the road. I think we'll complete this first challenge, but I think the second challenge is going to be nearly impossible now as we clear Lance Stroll, our teammate, up into P9. Nearly 3 seconds to Piastri and Lando Norris, but as you can imagine, that gap significantly coming down. Do we go for a move up the inside? We show the nose on Piastri, nearly contact there. We clear him using a little bit of curbing there, and now we'll look up the inside of Norris. There's another pass complete into P7 as I go wide on the exit of the final turn. We have to back out of it. Couldn't go for the overtake on George Russell, but on the exit of turn 1, here we go to the outside, and now we'll send one down the inside, clear Hamilton before we even get near the apex. Into the top 5 now is Leclerc, Perez, Sainz, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd, right on our nose here. We'll go around the long way of Leclerc. Thank you very much. There's the 4th position. Perez, we know exactly where we're going to get him, right here around the outside. And now Carlos Sainz just in front of us for 2nd. He parks the bus on the apex, so I have to be a bit patient here. 10 seconds to Max Verstappen as we finally clear Carlos Sainz now, as we have to spend the next lap just committed and trying everything we can to close in on Verstappen. The gap now under 4 seconds in just one lap. 3 laps to go. As you can see me getting the wet compound tire ready, I know we're going to complete the challenge at this point. It's going to be very simple. We have 3 laps to basically complete a pass. It's only going to take us one more corner, and on the run down towards the left-hander, we're going to have a nice slipstream from Verstappen. Now no DRS, not even really needing to use battery, but there we go. We have completed challenge 1, all 5 compound tires, and we get to the lead. So the answer is yes, we can beat 0% AI using all 5 tire compounds in one race. But now for the additional challenge, can we come in and put a wet compound tire on and still beat the AI? I think we'll beat everybody, but Verstappen is going to be a difficult one. Into the pits we go for one final time. The additional challenge kicks off. We'll come in, get these mediums off, put a fresh set of wet compound tires back on the car, head back out on the track, and as we exit onto the racetrack from the pit lane, we're going to drop in behind a few cars, so we're going to have to make some overtakes. Leclerc, Perez, Sainz, Hamilton as well will basically be right alongside Hamilton here, and to the right-hander, we'll clear him at ease. Now, thank you very much, Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time champ, not having the home Grand Prix. He would like down in P6 as we continue to reel in the cars in front. Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz will breeze past the Monaco driver and then get past Perez and Sainz in the process. Now, a lap and a half to go is the problem when the gap is 13.7 seconds. I don't think there's enough time as we approach the final lap here. Now, the gap gets cut down to about 11, now 10 seconds to Verstappen. Maybe there is enough time. It depends on really what it looks like at the end of Sector 1. I think is going to be a bit of a tell-all sign on if we have an opportunity or not to beat Verstappen on this wet compound tire. Now 9 seconds as we come through to shave it down to 8 seconds. Now coming up to the end of Sector 1. I don't think it's going to happen. Through Copse, 6 seconds a gap. Verstappen comfortably ahead. He's, drastically losing time. Just not drastically enough to me here. Now, as through the S as we go, and we don't gain as much as I would like to gain. We only gain about 1 second through that whole segment, of course, and it comes down to just under 4 seconds. Now, Verstappen's gonna do it. He has to hang on for just a few more corners. We're not quick enough. We completed the first challenge, but the additional challenge of an extra set of wets is gonna be unsuccessful. Verstappen wins the British Grand Prix. Fernando Alonso brings it home in second.
Yep, that's a problem, baby. Well done, guys. Not an easy race. Well executed. Bravo!
We can beat 0% AI on 5 different compounds, but when we add an additional wet set, we can't. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.